Hey, welcome back to the Shade Tree and what is to be the last installment of this old 55 Willys wagon. Last time we left off um, fabricating our bumper and splash pan. Since then I've gotten it painted and reinstalled on the Jeep. Doesn't look too bad. Fitment isn't bad. It doesn't look too terrible. Also, I went and drilled out the hole for the wiper and installed the wiper. Yes, I know I said I was going to wait till I got the glass, but I think we're going to be fine with it. I've tested the wiper on there and everything's working fine. So, got the white walls installed. I could not break the beads on these, so I had to take it to a tire shop and have them do it for me. It looks pretty good, I think, for what it is. Most of it fits pretty tightly, and I think it gives it a nice look for the type of vehicle that it is. Also solved the issue with the headlights and the horn. It was a ground issue. I had it initially grounded, the horn and the light grounded to the core support here. Wasn't getting a good enough ground. So I ran the ground all the way down to the frame, and now we have a horn and a light, but does not work through the steering wheel. I don't know what's going on. There might be a broken wire inside there. I wasn't about to pull the guts all apart. Couldn't get it to work, so we installed one of these cheapo horn buttons, and I think it fits this vehicle pretty good. As far as inspection goes, the only thing we're waiting on is the windshield, which is due to arrive today. I've also went through and did the window here on the driver's side with our sliding piece of plexiglass. Put the channel in. We're gonna have to get some kind of a handle to actually close that. So I will show you on the passenger side. We'll do it from scratch. I'll show you how I did it, and maybe it'll help you. Maybe it's stupid, I don't know, but it's going to work for what I need right now. And as I said before, the next person could take it to the next level. As inspection goes, lights are all working, horn is working, wiper is installed. We're still waiting on the windows arriving today. Headlight on the punch list is done. Glove box insert is not important, but we have to do it. And reinstalling the windows, which we're going to do today. Carb issues are solved with our truck top carburetor. Door handles, I'm having an issue with those, and I'll show you that in a second. Accelerator pedal. So the accelerator pedal I put in here came out of the S10. The problem with it is it didn't have enough throw. It was real close to the floor, so there wasn't enough throw on the throttle cable to be able to pull the throttle all the way out. So I heated it up, bent it, so we had a little more throw on there, but as it turns out, this is not going to work. It just, it looks stupid, and it does work, but it looks stupid. I had to cut a hole in the pedal because the pedal was like that. So I had to cut a hole and drill a hole in there so I could put the pedal flat, and it's just dumb. So we're not going to do that. Didn't want to have to do it, but I spent the $70 on a new throttle pedal and linkage. I don't really need the linkage, but we did need the pedal. So we'll be installing that. And with luck, by the end of this video, we'll be taking a ride in this little baby and finish off this video series. Not that I won't do videos in the future on, maybe putting the heater core in this thing and, some other odds and ends, that glove box inserts, stuff like that. Throw them in here and there. But I am currently scouring the marketplace for our next pile of junk. So we'll see what we can drag home here in the next few weeks. But right now, We're going to focus our attention on the old 55 Willys wagon, who has come a long ways in 10 months. We're going to get her finished up and take her for a little ride and finish up this video series, so stick around, man. Alright, for those of you who don't know how these handles go together, you've got the trim ring that's got a spring inside of it, so you're supposed to stick this on, put this on the stem, simultaneously pull the spring back and try to get this pin down through there, and I'll show you on the vehicle. The idea is that this goes on, and of course when your door panel's on, it's going to be way out here, and then you can see the holes way back there. This goes on. You have to depress this thing and try to slide this pin at the same time, which on a normal Willys door panel probably would have worked. It did work actually, but the ones that I made, I just can't get the trim ring to go down far enough to get the pin in there, and I need like a third hand, and it's just not going to happen. If you don't have the trim ring on there, those pins would like to fall out, so I had to actually put a screw and a nut on this one just to keep it, you know, from coming apart, and the same thing on this side. I think I actually got the pin in over here, but I'm kind of afraid it's going to fall out, but there's no way to depress that trim ring in far enough to do all of it, so this is going to have to work for me right now. And the only problem I'm having on the driver's side here is the door handle there's a chunk missing out of it, so you can't really there's no way to fasten it in there, so I'm going to have to come up with something creative. That's a dilemma with the door handles. It's not really a huge issue, but it's just a pain. This came off an old set of mirrors I had for motorcycle. I'm thinking we might be able to utilize this for a handle, maybe. I don't know. It's just a thought. We got two of those, so maybe we'll do something with those. Let's move on to the sliding windows. I'll show you what I got going on here. Got the aluminum channels cut for the top, bottom, and the side for this one over here. I'm just going to put the stuff in with adhesive for now, because I think it'll make it a lot easier for the next guy. I've also used a piece of that channel here on the plexiglass as some kind of like a grab to slide, and put a rubber seal on it so we can seal the two windows together. I made a mistake of cutting these windows exactly like this. I use this as the pattern to cut our plexiglass. But I should have cut it. You see, I should have cut it an inch shorter so these two would line up and make a seal. We may have to do that. We may have to take this back out and do that. You can cut the plexiglass with a roto zip. It works pretty good, but it tends to want to melt it because it rotates so quickly. But it will cut it. You have to keep cleaning the bit off every now and again. But I went and used a jigsaw and used a very fine tooth saw blade. This one's actually made for metal, so the teeth are really fine. It worked really well on that plexiglass. You don't want to use anything too aggressive because it'll crack it and break it. Just an FYI on that fine tooth blade. I think overall our old windshield rubber worked out well for that, to seal that side in, and then our Flex Seal rubber paste worked well to seal that side in. So, you know, it's going to work for what I need. And if you're just going to use this thing as a pleasure vehicle and take it out now and again, you'd probably be fine with that. Let's get started with putting that other sliding window together and in. I bought a roll of this weather stripping, auto and marine rubber weather seal. Got it at the home center. It works out really well for what we're going to do here. Make a rubber seal on this window. Like I said, we're just going to put some adhesive on this for now. So the next guy that gets this thing won't have to kill himself to get this stuff all apart. Yes, I know what you're thinking, but did I mention this is a budget build? Sure is. Besides, it don't look that bad. I know I said earlier I was going to cut these windows down another inch, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I think we're just going to run with that the way it is. I think it'll be fine. We'll get another piece of rubber on the inside of there, and it'll seal the window up. I don't plan on driving this thing unless the weather is nice, so I'm sure it's not going to be a huge issue. So all we have to do is come up with some kind of handle on the inside that we can open and shut that with. Not really sure yet, but I think I'm going to call that good. Certainly look a lot better than what we started with, and that's really all I was shooting for. So yeah, we're just waiting on a windshield now. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, we also did order a new drive shaft. Like I told you before, we just used the one that I cut down just to move this thing around, but we will be putting that one in its place. Alright, welcome back. It is the next day, and as you can see, we finally got our glass. Almost 1 month to the day to get 3 pieces of flat glass. I don't understand it, but let's get the glass in this thing so we can get it finished up and take it for a ride. I think the first glass we're going to put in is the door, driver's side door. I had a small roll of window setting tape left over from when I did the Apache, so it should be enough to do this door. It goes in the channel on the bottom like that. The only thing I don't have is the felt channel that goes up around the window, so we're just going to have to work without it for now. Right now, let's see if we can get the window set in the channel and get it to roll up and down. Well, that glass shouldn't have went in there that easily, but you can see without that felt strip down in there, it's awful sloppy. See that? It just flops in here. This is probably not as tight as it should be either, but I don't have the right channel up in there, so it's going to be a little floppity for a while till we can get the right felts in there, but I just wanted to mainly get it in the channel right now. I just used some painter's tape to hold that piece of window setting tape in there so it didn't fall out, but I don't think it's working very well. It doesn't want to seat down in that channel. It could be that this particular window setting tape is a little thicker than normal. I don't know if they're all the same or not, but this channel seems to be a little bit narrower than I remember the other truck being, so that could be the issue there. I wonder if we couldn't give it a couple light taps with a rubber mallet to try to seat that. Let's see if that'll work. Kind of working. But I don't want to get too aggressive with it. It does go up and down fairly easily. So let's this window mechanism isn't in the greatest shape either, to say the least. I think she's on there well enough where it's not going to go anywhere. It's pretty floppy in there, but it's a window. I'm not looking forward to it, but it's got to get done, so let's see if we can't get this windshield in. We have our assortment of plastic utensils, some soapy water, and I'm kind of figuring that the first window may go in easier just because you got, you know, the back and forth play to work with. The second window, that's going to be the hardest one because, you know, you're kind of stretching that rubber and trying to force that window inside of it. I'll be honest, I've never done a windshield before. I've seen them do it before with the rope deal, but I'm not sure this one, because it has that stanchion in the center, will work out to do something like that. I think we're just going to try to work it in with the tools. So let's get set up and see what we can do. And pray that I don't drop one of these things. Go ahead and get some soapy water going here. Maybe make that slide in a little better, I don't know. Probably should have a person helping you, which I do not have, so it's going to be even more interesting than usual. Now I'm kind of wondering, we've had that rubber up in that windshield for a while. I'm kind of wondering, should we try to put the glass in it on the bench and then put the whole thing in the opening? But the glass seems like it's bigger than the rubber, and that's the issue with these things. And that's the issue I had with the Apache putting the back window in. The piece of glass was actually bigger than the opening. So I'm thinking that these gaskets either have to seat on the outside or seat on the inside. I'm thinking the outside, so the glass sits against the opening on the outside. Let me see if we can't do something a little different with this. The way this is up in here now, it feels like the glass should seat on the inside. Well, that is really tight. I'm trying to pull this lip up over the top of the glass so that maybe once this gets underneath that lip, it'll go up higher, because we're actually hitting the dash right now. I don't know how that's ever going to go in that bottom rubber, but we're going to keep at it till we either break the glass or get it in. Well, 2.5 hours and a whole lot of curse words later, we got the one side in. I had to cut the stanchion out of there. There's just no way that window was going in there with that piece of rubber in there. It was literally 1/16 of an inch at a time trying to get this rubber in. It's not a job that I ever want to have to do again, but we got one more window to do. After that, I don't think I'm ever going to attempt this again. This is better left to the professionals, I think. Yeah. That is a job better left to the professionals. I've been out here almost 7 hours, just working little by little by little, getting that rubber to go over that glass. I'm sure I did it wrong. I'm sure there's a quicker way and a proper way to do it, but it's in now. So the last thing I think we need to do before we drive this thing is to put the new drive shaft in. Get the old one out of there, put the new drive shaft in, and we're gonna fire this thing up and take her down the road, man. There it is, guys, 1955 Willys wagon. We found this old thing in Nicholasville, Kentucky. We're out in a horse pasture where she was probably going to spend her final days. When we first got it home, the rear end was locked up in it. I got a couple of pictures here. I'll show you what I found when I pulled the diff cover off. Full of water, yep. Originally I wanted to do a chassis swap right from the beginning, but got kind of thinking that it might be worth a little more money if we went back to original until I started pricing parts. Yeah, no. So having said that, we went back to the chassis swap idea. Found a 1999 S10 4-cylinder 5-speed that ran and drove. No, we couldn't run with a 4-cylinder in this thing, so we decided to pull the 4-cylinder out. Found out once we mounted this body on that chassis we had to cut 5 inches out of the frame. So we did a frame reduction on it. We pulled out the 4-cylinder 5-speed, replaced it with a stock small block Chevy 350. Found a 350 turbo transmission for it. We ended up doing a ton, and I mean a ton, of metal work on this thing. I'll throw some pictures up to show you what we started with and now what we end up with. We ended up putting a custom roll pan on the back. We found a picture on the internet that we could use to mimic fender extensions. So we used the picture to build our own fender extensions using metal from the S10. We also cut the bed out of the box of the S10 and used it to patch all the rotted stuff back here. Turned out pretty good, I think. We totally rebuilt the tailgate. Found an old cow skull back here. So I figured we'd make that the theme for this build. I went and installed some cow skull pinstriping on the back. Our blinker system is also a cow skull. Those eyes light up when blinkers are on. All new steering column and gauges. New interior. Fabricated door panels. My wife made seat covers so we could replace those. Got rid of all those nasty springs and everything. Built a custom console for our radio. New gas tank. New exhaust system. We ended up using the entire running gear from the S10. Tires, brakes, rear end, everything. For what we started with, she definitely needs a good body man to come and straighten a lot of this out. I am not a body man, but I think it looks pretty good for, you know, what we started with. So I'm going to say that there ain't but one thing left to do. Let's jump in this baby and see how she drives. Probably a little low on fluid. That's what I'm feeling anyway. Well, the old wagon, she did alright for her first time. Looking pretty good out in the sunlight. All in all, not a bad first drive. We do have some work to do here and there. New battery is one thing we definitely have to get for this. All in all, we're going to call that a win. So this old girl, she's going to go on the road tomorrow. I'm looking forward to driving it for a little while, and then we're going to sell this one. Got about 8 grand into this thing. I'm going to ask 11 for it. What I'd like to do is trade it for a new project vehicle and some cash. I mean, or 11K. That's what I'm going to ask for her. We're going to drive around for a while. I guess that's going to wrap up this video series on the old Willis wagon, or Willys wagon, however you want to say it. 1955 Willys wagon on an S10 chassis, stock 350 with a 350 trans. My wife did the seat covers. Say hi.
Hi.
So we're going to call this one good. Appreciate you guys tuning in for the video series on this thing. Appreciate all the likes and the comments. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, do that if you would. I'll be dragging home some junk in the near future, so hopefully you'll be tuning in for that too. And until next time, man, take it easy.